I'm going to be under the camera, aren't I?
You're good.
You sure?
Yes, no problem.
Somewhere there's a little 4x4 riser that's only this tall. They ought to get that for you to protect you and your foot. Ask for it next time. It's 4 foot by 4 foot by 12 inches.
Will you email me after tonight so I can have this name? I won't work.
Are y'all okay?
Well, why do you do that?
Yeah. Did you met with for herself, yes, but not money. Priorities.
Did you say Tuesdays for being Betty and me? Okay, I'll send them.
Let me put that on the calendar.
Yeah. Okay, first.
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We're going to start with Eidizu, and that's a song without words. You don't have to find a page. Just open your ears and your heart and also your mouths and sing aloud with us.
there was an old man who used to go to the ocean to do his writing. He had a habit of walking on the beach every morning before he began his work. Early one morning, he was walking along the shore after a big storm had passed and found the vast beach littered with starfish, as far as the eye could see, stretching in both directions. Off in the distance, the old man noticed a small boy picking up starfish one by one and tossing each one gently back into the water. The boy came closer still, and the man called out, "Good morning! May I ask what it is that you are doing?" The young boy paused, looked up, and replied, "Throwing starfish into the ocean. The tide has washed them up onto the beach, and they can't return to the sea by themselves," the youth replied. "When the sun gets high, they will die unless I throw them back into the water." The old man replied, "But there must be tens of thousands of starfish on this beach. I'm afraid you won't really be able to make much of a difference." The boy bent down, picked up yet another starfish, and threw it as far as he could into the ocean. Then he turned, smiled, and said, "To that one, it made all the difference in the world." We all have the opportunity to help change the world for the better, and no kind act is too small. To someone, it may make all the difference in the world. May we take this thought with us into Shabbat and remember it for years to come. Each one of us can make a difference in someone else's life, maybe in this room. Let our Shabbat candles, lit by Samantha Fisher, illuminate this reality for us. We turn to page 3.
As these Shabbat candles As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be amongst those who kindle light. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Amen. We continue on page 12, singing Lehuna Ranana, Psalm 95.
Let us sing unto God, sing unto God a new song. Let us sing unto God, sing unto God a new song. La 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 la, yeah la 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 la, yeah.
Psalm 92 on page 22. We're going to start on the third line down. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, page 22. Turn back a page or two to 20 and 21 for Legato D. We will sing together, obviously, the chorus, but then verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach that 9th verse, Believe Shalom, we'll rise, facing the entrance to our sacred space this evening, beckoning that Sabbath spirit towards us as we sing together. Whether you're joining us on live stream or here in the Barshop Auditorium, join with us, sing with us, bring in that spirit.
Shalom.
We remain standing for the Hatzi Kaddish on page 26 through Shema. At the top of page 33, we join together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Time.
we read responsively. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot.
That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness.
But there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together, singing Micha Mocha together, page 40. Together on page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming, to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukkot shalom aleinu, el kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44, Vishamra.
Let
top of page 55, we join together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh hashabbat. I'm enjoying us reading together. It feels so rich. So we're going to continue reading together at the bottom of 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love and our doubt, and our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'odcha levadecha v'yirah na'avod. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and the God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai, your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shivcha ulecha na'eh lehotos. Page 61, we join together in our prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, eternal one, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamebarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. On your order of service that you received as you came in, we rise together as we join in the prayer for the state of Israel. Rock and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, the dawning of our redemption. Shield it with your compassion and spread over it the sukkah of your shalom. May a spark of your spirit inspire the actions of its elected leaders and officials, judges and advisors, that they may follow the path of justice, liberty, and righteousness. Strengthen the spirit and the hands of those who build and protect our holy land, and grant them salvation and life. Bring peace to this land and everlasting joy to its inhabitants. Be with all the people of Israel, wherever they are. Plant within their hearts the love of Zion, and spread your spirit over all the inhabitants of our land. Uproot hatred and animosity, jealousy and evil. Plant in our hearts love and kinship, peace and friendship, and speedily fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation will not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. And together we say, Amen. We turn to the other side. You may be seated. On the other side of your handout, you will find our healing list. And we think of all of those listed as well as those that are in our hearts. So we take a moment to whisper the names aloud of those who are in need of a healing blessing of heart, soul, of body. We join together in the words of Misha Garach, which can be found on page 253.
Opportunity to have members of our congregation teach some Torah to all of us, and this evening Ann Weiner is going to offer a Devar Torah for this week's Torah portion. Devar.
Shabbat Shalom. This week's portion is Deuteronomy 1-1-22. And it is otherwise, Deuteronomy is known as Devarim, meaning words. And this is exactly what it is. It begins with Moses giving a recap of the journey the Jewish people had taken in the last 40 years. And he speaks of every place they had wandered and all the battles they had won with God on their side. But he also speaks of the bickering amongst the people and the times that the people refused to do as God commanded. At these times, Moses knew he could not deal with all these Israelites, as over the past 40 years they had multiplied by hundreds and thousands. Moses chose a group of men to help him with the various tribes who were leaders and respected men, which we see today as the judges. The middle of Devarim speaks of how the judges should handle the situations that come before them. God says very specifically that no person should be judged without being in the courtroom to give their side of the conflict. No person should be judged on what he has and doesn't have. What he wears to court should have no influence on the judgment. Lastly, the text speaks of entering the promised land. The Israelites were afraid to go and wanted to send scouts first, and Moses agreed. Each tribe chose a scout, and they went up to the hill to the promised land. And upon returning, only 2 of the scouts gave a favorable report of milk and honey and people who would be friendly. All the other scouts made the people afraid. They warned that the giants would kill them all, and that those that refused to enter, the current generation, only the children would be allowed because they did not do what God wanted. And in spite of the warning that God was not on their side, they went up and they were beaten back and instructed to turn around, go back to the Sea of Reeds and back to Egypt and settle wherever they can. God did not let those Israelites go into the promised land, and neither was Moses. So the questions for me are twofold. How one should judge others. Moses states 3 rules for making judgment. Hear out conflicting sides. Do not show partiality to wealthy or poor Israelites or strangers, and fear no one when making your decision. Rabbi Berechiah, quoting Rabbi Hanina, his teacher, poses that anyone making judgment should have 7 attributes. They must be wise, understanding, full of knowledge, able, reverent, truthful, and despise corruption. Hillel says, do not judge another person until you have been in that person's place. And Rabbi Akiva states, do not allow sentimentality in making judgments. These attributes are for anyone making any judgment over anything. Oh, I keep losing my place, I'm sorry. The judge at that time must make sure both sides get equal time to give their sides and always have a chance to be present at questioning. All evidence must be allowed, no matter how long and tedious. The judge must hear. In other words, listen to every word and ask questions. And if the judge sees anything he doesn't understand while paying attention to nuances and inflections and possible manipulation of the facts, he must address his questions and point out variances. Rabbi Moshe ben Chaim al-Sheikh also warns against judging someone by the way they look or by the way they were dressed. Rabbi al-Sheikh also warns judges to not feel their reputation will be marred by asking others to hear the argument. Lastly, when hearing an argument, the judge should never show partiality. As to speaking to one other participant kindly and the other rudely, and Rabbi Joseph Hertz, quoting from a story from the Babylon Talmud, told of Samuel, a revered scholar who was crossing a narrow plank bridge, and a stranger offered to help the rabbi because he could tell that he needed some help. Upon learning the man's name, Samuel realized the man was scheduled to appear before him in a few days, and Samuel said, "Friend, by your kind favor, I am now disqualified to judge your dispute." We have been entertained by quite a few judges and juries in the previous months. Do you feel all have been impartial, wise, and knowledgeable? I have my own opinions, and especially after reading what the rabbis had to say. The other is the responsibility of leaders and followers. Moses was the leader of the Israelites, but God was the leader of Moses. And when finally entering the last stage of their 40-year journey, Moses tells the Israelites what he, and therefore God, expect of them. He reviews the events that had happened during their trek through the desert, naming both the good and the bad the people had done, but he did not totally criticize or place blame. For example, instead of talking about the Israelites making the golden calf, the idol, Moses speaks of all the gold that they were able to take from the Egyptians on their way out of Egypt. Rabbi Jonah teaches, those who refuse to listen to criticism or to give it will die. It's pretty strong. Criticism is the only way out of wrongdoing. Rabbi Moshe ben Chaim al-Sheikh argues that the people were not only unfaithful and defiant, but they deliberately deceived Moses by telling the spies sent up Mount Amorite to report to them, not Moses, at the same time telling Moses that they needed a strategic plan before going up. This shows the people did not trust Moses, and so they did not trust God, and they hold responsibility for not being able to enter the land of milk and honey. Their dishonesty and subterfuge led to the disaster, but by not listening to Moses, they did not listen to God. In Numbers, Moses recounts the same things he spoke of in Deuteronomy. David Hoffman explains the difference between the spy story in Numbers and Deuteronomy. In Numbers, Moses speaks as a historian, accounting the events that took place. In Deuteronomy, Moses is delivering a moral discourse, urging the people to learn the lesson of history. He does so to draw a moral, to show the direct responsibility of their ancestors for their actions. In Numbers, Moses blames the spies for the actions. In Deuteronomy, he blames the people for not listening to history and repeating it. In the Torah, every person is responsible for their actions. They are put to the test daily by God. They can choose to reject evil and not follow along with the crowd. English statesman Edmund Burke commented, all that is necessary for the triumph of evil is that good people do nothing. We have seen this in the book of Esther, the Romans expelling the Jews and destroying the temple, the Crusades, the pogroms in Russia, and the Holocaust, to name just a few. If you go to Wikipedia, it's amazing how many times they've been kicked out of places. But if you do not study history and reject what was evil, we will continue to repeat and repeat and repeat. Shabbat Shalom.
Sorry.
We continue with the concluding portion of our service. Elenu can be found on page 283. Please rise.
Jerusalem,
As we turn to our memorial meditation on page 291, we note with sadness the death of longtime Temple Beth-El member Dr. David H. White, husband of Andrea White, father of Sean and Jennifer and Rebecca and Doug, grandfather of Nick, Wilder, Lauren, and Kendall. We also note with sadness the death of longtime Temple Beth-El member Betty Lifshitz, mother of David and Rochelle Lefton, Elizabeth Lefton, and Susan and Corky Long, grandmother of Lauren, Aaron and Ian, Robin, Debbie and Harold, Stephanie and Jason, great-grandmother of Shai, Jeremy and Ashley, Joseph and Nikki, Jessica, Maya, Avi, Ella, Sarah, and David, great-great-grandmother of Violet and Clara, aunt of Lynn and Russell Aranda and Danny Aranda. A memorial reception will take place on Sunday, August 11th at 10:30 a.m. in the Dreeben Family Pavilion. Page 291. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone and naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were, in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become, yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do best homage to our dead when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world, and each one is the breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one, whose life now ended, brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone, and every life finds purpose. Our thoughts turn now to those in our community and extended community who have died at this time in years past. As we mark their yard sites, we remember them. Mark Avila, Herman Badish, Arlene Burler, Dr. Wallace Bloom, Irvin Bornett, Adeline Bracken Price, Betsy Bramson, Julius Braveman, Robert Burns, Pedro Cortez Sr., Jean Croft, Melissa DePere, Sarah Dubinsky, Julianne Edison, Elma B. Falkstein, Patricia Fisher, Ruth Cohen Frisch, Mignon Gabay, Tenny Gans, Ruth L. Glasgow, Carrie Green, Vera Hubaum, Howard Honigblum, Danielle Christine Howard, John Huddleston, Shlomo Alon, Peggy Kaplan Eisenberg, Yale Kalmans, Ruth Kapner, Vera Cates, Rabbi J. Kaufman, Myrna Klein, Judith Craig, Madeline G. Landsman, S. Stephen Lang, Dr. William Leon, Leah Helig Levine, Isidore Levinson, Robert Livingston, Svetlana Lubashevskaya, Richard S. Madden, Wanda Mann, Harry H. May, Alan David O'Keefe, Patty Kempner Oppenheimer, Norma Katz Oppenheimer, Paula Palmer, Sam Pearl, Rolando Joseph Olson, Betty Lou Rice, Edith Reamer, Francis Rifkin, George Ringel, Milton Earl Rabinowitz, Raquel Chayette Ronay, Anne Rosenblatt, Rosalie Pasternak Rosenblum, Sam Saknowitz, Hyman Sachs, Ethel Charlack, Helen Schaff, Marvin Shelton, Sam Strauss, Arthur Strelke, Marta Temple, Isidore Arnold Victor, Rove H. Weil, Marilyn Westheimer, Joseph M. Westheimer Sr., Harold Gardner Wolfe, Raymond Wolfe, and Edmund J. Wolfe. To these names, we add the names of those who have been laid to their eternal rest in the past month, whose family and friends are in the mourning period of Shloshim. We remember Fanny Reifer-Veroslav, Audrey Brody Hankin, Hannah Ross, Stanley Schoenbaum, and Fleur Tamon. We also think of two who have been laid to their eternal rest this past week, whose family and friends are in a mourning period of Shiva. We remember Gail Gerwitz, wife of Robert Gerwitz, Zichrono Livracha, mother of Greg and Jean, Brad and Lisa, and Julie and Joe, grandmother of Haley and Gabe, Zane, Natalie, Zach and Callie, Jeffrey, Katie, Adam and Matt, sister-in-law of Gary and Bailey Gerwitz, and Phyllis Davis. We also remember Lisa Johnson, cousin of Temple Beth-El member Chris and Carl Brown, Erica Brown, Celine Scallon, Jasmine Tobias, and Tatiana Brown, daughter of Barbara Strickland, stepdaughter of Joseph Strickland, wife of Charles Johnson, sister of Erica, Jack, and Jared, mother of Isaac and Mark, grandmother to 5. With all of these names, we think of those who are in our hearts each and every day as we join together the words of Kaddish Yatom on page 294. Please rise. Yitzgadal v'yitzkadash shemei rabah, ve'almad yibrach birutei v'yamlit malchutei, v'chayefon v'yamechon v'chayedefon beit Yisrael, v'agalah v'yizman kari v'nimru, amen. Yehei shmei rabah mevarach le'olam u'mei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpahar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei nekudashah b'richu, Le'ela minkol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, ta'amiran v'almad v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba v'im shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, uya aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all the world, to which we say, Amen. You may be seated. It is my honor to call forward Corey Palmer on behalf of our Board of Trustees to deliver tonight's announcements.
Shabbat Shalom and welcome.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm glad that you could join us here in the Bar Shop Auditorium. I think this is A, maybe?
No, this is B and C.
B and C, it's B and C. Or from your own sacred space. We'd like to thank tonight our pre-Shabbat Moneg sponsor, Sisterhood, and to Samantha Fisher-Price for lighting our candles this evening, and to our greeters, Betty Indick, Irene Burns, Michelle Mungia, and Mark Kapner, and thank you, and Yashar Kwak to Ann Weiner for your Devar Torah. Here are some upcoming events at Temple and things to know. We have a shoe drive for Haven for Hope, and you can drop off new or gently used tennis shoes or sneakers of all sizes, August 12th to 31st, Monday through Thursday.
Just men's.
Just men's. Just men's shoes.
They're
August 12th through 31st, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I just have to read. That's
I know.
once I start, I have to keep reading. So men's shoes, we're there, we got it, okay.
You're rocking it.
All right, thank you. Friday, 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. and before services. Again, this is when you can drop. Saturday before services, and you can contact Ross Helfand if you have any questions. The Linda Coffin Cabaret concert is coming up on Thursday, August 29th at 7 p.m. And registration on upcoming events can be found on the events page of our website. Save the date for the TBE Welcome Back Barbecue, Friday, September 6th after services. And upcoming 150th anniversary celebration events, including Sisterhood Cookbook Tasting on Thursday, September 5th. Ladino Family Style Meal presentation from Chef Bertie Richter, partner and executive chef at Ladino, on Tuesday, September 17th. And there are more upcoming events listed on our website. You can find more information and registration links for these and other exciting things on our website or in the weekly announcements which arrive in your inbox around 4 p.m. every Thursday. We look forward to your participation in these enriching and community building opportunities. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So much.
Way to go.
That was beautiful. I would just hate for all us women to be like, oh good, I can donate my shoes. And then they're like, no, we don't want your shoes. Your fetus is fine. Yeah. Our closing song is Adonai Oz on page 338. I invite you to rise, and I want to point out that these words, Adonai Oz le'amo yitin, Adonai yivarech et hamo b'shalom, may God give strength to God's people, may God bless God's people with peace, is a prayer that I know we hold in all our hearts, not just for our own community, not just for the people of Israel, but all those in the world in need of stability, in need of safe homes, in need of peace. Hopefully you'll recognize this oldie but goodie melody and sing with us.